It's a lovely Saturday, a warm one, and I would say welcome to nothing but the best TV station which is here and it's making headlines always. And we're here to give you nothing but the best entertainment in terms of sports. And when I say sports, we cover almost everything. And I'm your host, Amos, aka Amore, and welcome to Off the Pitch. And you know, I'm never alone all the time, and I'm joined by Mr. Rapson.
Good afternoon, dear viewers, and welcome to another show that is very, very exciting. We've had quite a number of sporting events during the week, and hopefully it will be a very, very wonderful show.
Augustine.
Good afternoon, Amos, and good afternoon to the viewers out there. It's been an interesting week of mixed emotions. I think the best news that have come out of this week was to see young Gilbert Tembo promoted to the senior team of Zesco United. He's one boy whom I just went to Mnali grounds to watch a football game. Then I was surprised to just see the quality of the young player. And then I said, this guy in the near future, he'll do big things. And he has just made the move to Zesco United. I think thumbs up to him.
You know, at some point I thought you'd go to the bad news because you even look low. you are looking like you are on a low mode. But then we won't discuss that. And to our viewers who are just joining us and watching us live on TV, you can also catch us live on Facebook. Just follow our page, which is Camnet TV. We are there live as well. But before we go into our discussion and before we unveil our two guests that we have here in the studio, let's take a very short break. We'll be right back on the other side.
Are you a filmmaker? Well, you are exactly what we're looking for.
Camnet TV is calling on local filmmakers. For more details,
You can visit our headquarters in Ibex Hill, next to Hilltop Hospital.
contact us on
0962 444 726. Camnet TV.
not just another channel.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And just like I said before we went on a short break, you can also catch us live on Facebook. Just follow our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, and you catch us live. And Augustine, let's start with you. Let's look at the breaking news that no one expected. Because even for me personally, I never expected to see Bruce making that move. And looking at, you are a very diehard Darrows fan. How is it? What happened?
I think it's a move which has come with mixed emotions. I think it was inevitable that Bruce was going to move at a certain point at Red. I was looking at his qualities and everything. But I personally expected Bruce Musakanya was going to go somewhere maybe in South Africa or Europe, not to go to a rival in Zesco United. Because what has happened is that Chicken George Rwandamine was the one who gave Bruce Musakanya his debut at Red Arrows against Kalewa. And he knows his qualities. That's why he has been pushing for him to join Zesco United. But Red Arrows Football Club, as a club, were they ready for this, for Bruce Musakanya's departure? Have they put in place the necessary signings that will come and boost Red Arrows? Because if you saw Red Arrows during last season, when Bruce Musakanya went injured, that's when the problem came in. because it was all about now James Chamanga himself. There was a game before Bruce got injured. Red Arrows was playing was, and I was sitting with a friend, and we highlighted to say, if you take away Bruce Msakanya and James Chamanga, Red Arrows will be fighting relegation, because you saw how the team was playing. You could see if it's not Bruce, then it's James Chamanga who can come up with the goods for the football club. And when Bruce went injured, now James Chamanga was starting to play deep, to try and link up play with the forward players. He was trying to create and score at the same time. Now you have Bruce Msakanya, who has left the football club. The creative guy, he has left the football club. He has left a very, very big hole at Red Arrows. I know there are a lot of Red Arrows fans out there. We're trying to comfort ourselves, say Bruce left one time to go to Ghana, but this is different. This is different. You look at that time when Bruce was leaving from Ghana. We had the likes of Stanley Shimbi, who was fit at the time. Very, very fit Stanley Shimbi. There was Evans Musonda. There was Akim Mumba. Those were promising young wingers. But now, if you look at the situation, Bruce Msakanya, he has gone. Now what next? Evans Musonda, gone. What left for Red Arrows? I think it's a disaster.
Is that absolute?
No, I can see Augustine is very, very emotional with the depletion of his team. And apparently he's just playing. There are some players that is yet to mention. I'm sure he will come back and mention. There is more players that have left Red Arrows. And for me, I think I'll twist it and go on the other side. Where Bruce is going to Zesco United, I have seen some serious rebuilding in the team there. Because this past week we saw the Zesco United sister clubs around the country sending their 5 best players to go and have trials at Zesco United. We saw those trials going through, and ultimately 6 junior players have been promoted to the main team. This is what Zesco United has been lacking over time, building from their necessary teams. And now we have seen it happening. I'm sure there will be massive exodus of old players at Zesco United as well, because when you see Bruce coming in, those are the experienced players that George Wandamina wants to have, creative midfielders, those that can push up and raise the standards of the young boys who are now joining the squad. So for me, I think Zesco United is on point with the way they have started building up for the season. On the other end, again, Red Arrows, they stand to lose big time because Chisi has been given a job as an under-15 national soccer team coach. That's an extra responsibility. When you look at the period that we have remained before the start of the next season, and the amount of work they have to bring in new players that are going to gel in together and become a force to reckon with, I think Red Arrows has a lot of work to do.
Would we say Zesco United played their cards well?
Extremely. Bruce is very, very talented. To any team that wants to have a player like Bruce, surely you expect him to start delivering results, because Bruce has always been on point. He's one guy who can create, he's one guy who can dribble, he's one guy who can actually score. He's got all those qualities in him. He's a complete player for me. And Zesco United, it's a very, very, very good gamble. Like Augustine has said, I didn't personally expect that a player of Bruce's caliber can still be looking for a team within this country. He's got the qualities of playing abroad and performing to the expectations of every one of us as Zambian fans that watch soccer.
We heard you, Augustine, earlier saying it's different from the time when he went at Nkana and now. Why rating it like that?
I think if you look at the time when Bruce Msakanya was leaving from Ghana at that time, there were a lot of active young players, the likes of Shadrack Malambo, Evans Musonda, Stanley Shimbi. Those were energetic at their peak. But if you look at the current squad, it's aging, the current Red Arrows squad. That's why we've seen them release, is it 9 players, 9 veterans? Yeah. So you can see from now, this Red Arrows side were fighting for the title in the transition. But how they have fallen to a, not even mid-table team, but they were, I think it's number 11. They finished in the bottom half. So you can see now, a team which finished in the bottom half to release these numbers of players. I think it wasn't done in a very, very good way. It could have been a gradual process. From my personal view, it could have been a gradual process, because Bruce Msakanya is someone who turns up with the magic at Red Arrows. Even Zesco United, they know what they're getting. They're getting a gem with Bruce Msakanya. But you look at Red Arrows, who are they going to replace Bruce with? When Bruce Msakanya came to Ngoloma from Blue Arrows, just in pre-season, we heard that there's this young boy who has come who is very, very talented. They were brothers with Kekwin Musakanya. Unfortunately, he got injured, and that's how his career came to a stop. But if you see, Red Arrows had ammunition when they were releasing the likes of Bruce to go to Nkana. But this time, you've got young players like Muiza Siwale. He has just played, I think, he's hit one game against Nakambala Leopards. Are you going to put the pressure on a young boy like that? You have got Alassana Diarra, who is, I think, now he's in Mali. He's on a holiday. But he's just adapting to the game. Even the coaches can say that his physical ability, I think he lacks in the physical presence of the game. He's very talented, but he needs to grow. He needs to learn a lot of things. Now, it will be like Red Arrows now will be teaching boys to grow in the Super League. And this is something which has come as a shock to me. Because Red Arrows struggled in terms of wide areas. We saw games where Arrows played without a winger. And one of them was against Kawe Warriors, if I remember. They played a striker in a wide area because they never had wingers on that particular day. They had Hope Katwishi, James Chamanga, and Francis Mwanza. Francis Mwanza is not a winger, he's a central midfield. Yeah, so if you're playing in wide areas, he's wasted. So you see now Red Arrows, who is going to step up to the plate? That's the big question, because you cannot put...
For me, Amos, I think
the Red Arrows issue won't come to an end.
Augustine is quite emotional about Red Arrows. I totally agree his feelings. But I think for me it's good riddance. We have two squads here. We are discussing Zesco and Red Arrows.
Yeah.
Both squads had overaged players. So the winners between the two, it's just Zesco United who've gotten a better player. But again, on the other side, I think it's good riddance at Red Arrows because you cannot have a squad that is an average age of about 35 and above, and you expect to get results against fast young boys in the Premier League. I think for me, the decision of laying off 9, of course, you should have kept Bruce to groom the young ones that are coming up and probably get rid of, no names mentioned, of course, you've released 9 players, we all know that. But I think the ones that have left, we didn't have to have them to groom the young ones. Why? Because in football, there's a lot. There's on the pitch playing and off the pitch. For me, when you look at the off the pitch side of life, you can see that the young ones need to have role models that they look at. Yes. When you get to the pitch, you need players that they can look up to and say, all right, even if our level of football is low, we have one role model who's going to bring the spirit of the players up. And that's what you are going to lack in Bruce. The rest of the guys that you've laid off, I think for me, is good riddance. We have to move on and just start afresh.
I think the biggest problem has been Red Arrows' transfer policy. If you look at how the club is being set up for the past, is it 6 or 7, let's say, take it to 10 years. When did Red Arrows last sign a player who's on top of this game in the Zambian Super League? Which player was that? The last player they signed someone who's very, very on top of his form. I don't even remember, because we will always get a reject from Zanaco, we'll get a reject from Zesco United,
and
we'll get a reject from Ghana. Those are the players we bring in. I think it's been.
I think we've got a lot to discuss, and we just saw the unveiling of Bruce Musaganya on the Zesco page. It's even posted on Facebook. It's there. That shows that those people played their cards well in terms of wanting him. We saw them because it's the first time someone is being unveiled like that. And I hope other teams can learn from it to say, okay, this is how you unveil players, and maybe it will be good for marketing as well. And you are watching Off the Pitch, and we are discussing a move of Bruce Msaganya from Red Arrows to Zesco United. But before we go further into the information and details towards that move and transfer, you can also catch us live on Facebook, and the phone line is open. The number is scrolling just there on your screens. You can call in to give us your views on the issue of Musakanya going to Zesco United. But for now, we'll take a short break, and we'll be joined by our 2 guests who will be introduced once they are on site. We'll be right back.
This is Camnet TV World News. For a prompt response, call +2609 53 995 099 or +2609 62 444 726 or +2609 711 77467. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. You're still watching Off the Pitch here on Camnet TV, and I'm your co-host Augustine Mwanza, aka Rio Flowers. We've made a little bit of a tactical change with John Uncle Rapson and Amos Lungu. We've brought in Pancherelo Chama and Bwezani Mbewe. Bwezani, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. How have you been?
I've been great, sir. Just the happenings at Arrows.
Yeah, I was watching you from a background, of course, full of emotions. Yeah, but I think this is football. These things happen.
Yeah. And Pancherelo Chama, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Augustine. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Okay. First things first, Bwezani, how did you receive the news of Red Arrows releasing about more than 10 players? Then Bruce Msakanya's moved to Zesco United.
Yeah, first of all, this is not the first time we are hearing of Bruce being tapped by Zesco United. They tried last season, but the Red Arrows exco stood on their ground because the priority is they wanted the player, of course, to go out of the country and not to strengthen
the rivals,
direct rivals. So I've known this for quite 2 seasons now, but this time around I think they realized there were no offers that were coming from outside, and the player really wanted some change of some sort. And at the end of the day, for me, I think it is him pushing for this move, and at the end of the day, Red Arrows sort of had no choice. Because the player really wanted to move and try something else elsewhere. Unfortunately, it had to be Zesco United. So on that move, very bad news for Red Arrows. Practically bad. I had to talk about last season. Red Arrows was Chamanga and Bruce Msakanya. And not that any one of them would have played without the other. They needed to be both on the pitch. So that is very bad news for Red Arrows. But for Bruce and Zesco United, well, I think it's a very good news. The only thing that I'm looking at this move is it's a 1-year loan deal. So he will help Zesco United qualify to CAF, and then he will go back to Red Arrows and not play CAF. You understand? So it's quite something that we should actually look at. So if anything, maybe Zesco will still be pushing for an extension to that contract. So that's what I think. But for the releasing of the other 10 players, well, I talked about it last season. I think it was bound to happen. Red Arrows for long, it has been a player that keeps their own players, no matter what form, they would only keep them because they are religiously following, and there's this term that they are airmen, you understand? Yes. So they're like family. So it was always difficult. Even when their form goes off, they will always keep them. We don't really know what is going on in the background because there are players, when you look at the list, you will start asking yourself, why is that one released? Do you understand? But yes. Ultimately, there should be something more than football. Because if it was only on football, we would have had Jose still playing, Evans Musonda. It's actually a shock of some kind because he has a lot of football in him. Yes. Yeah, so those two clearly tells me to say there's something more than football. We'll have to find out, of course. But by and large, it's a good move. It could be Red Arrows is rebranding. What we don't have right now is who are the players that are replacing this stream of players that have gone. Of course, we know James Chamanga, if you don't know, has extended his contract.
Yes.
Yeah, so already you could see that we'll be building our team towards James, which shouldn't be the case because James was supposed to come in.
He's aging.
Yeah, he was supposed to come in and just help young players actually fit in. So those are what I would actually pick for now.
Punch, do you think that these players that have been released by Red Arrows, some of them overstayed and it was high time that they were moved on?
I think so. Some of the players have been there for as long as... Red Arrows have an interesting squad. I think they've got the biggest squad in Zambian football. They've got over 50 players. And all they do is that if they don't release them, they usually send them on loan. So they've got so many players across the league on loan. I recall a couple of seasons in 2015, they got Dan Suyuni. By that time I was at Lusaka Dynamos. He came to Lusaka Dynamos, played really well in the first half of the season. Then second half, Red Arrows wrote to Lusaka Dynamos saying that they wanted him, and LD couldn't understand because he went back to Arrows and he didn't really play. So they've got this big squad, which I don't know how much they... I haven't attended an Arrows training session for a long time, but I wonder if all of them attend, if all 50 players, if they are not on loan, if they attend, or some of them don't. So I think it's a good idea to make the squad smaller, and there have been players who, in the squad, who I haven't seen for a long time. I think I saw Evans Musonda play one game this year. Before that, the last time I remember him playing was 2017. Bronson Chama, I haven't seen him playing for quite some time. Joseph Zimbas, that's a surprising release. I think he played very well. I thought he maybe still has some years in football in him, but he's been released. Then also Roderick Zimba. So, but at the end of the day, if Red Arrows are to make a better team, then it has to take them to let some players go and then see how they can build in those positions moving forward.
Yeah. So when you look at the beneficiaries, I think if you look at Zesco United now, they look like a team which is going to be playing continental football. Apart from these teams that are in continental, I think Zesco United seems to be making headlines in terms of transfers.
Yeah, of course. And it just tells you how painful it is to lose out in CAF. Okay, because currently, as things stand, Zesco won't be playing CAF. It is Green Eagles, Forest Rangers, Napsa Stars, and of course the broken Kana. I know we talk about that. It's something that we cannot run away from. They are broke, and I'm wondering how they're going to play. But the team that is actually very active in the transfer window is Zesco United, and you know exactly. This is what Zesco United does. For long, they've had the same number of players. They realized last season they lost the CAF slot because their players were tired. Immediately, Anton Akum left that team. The midfield, really, we realized to say they were relying on him. Kambole, immediately he left, we realized to say that the passes that Jesse Were was getting was actually gone. So it was a team that needed a lot of refreshment, and we've seen, they've confirmed, the first confirmed signing is that of Bruce Msakanya. And we are aware Isaac Shamujompa is joining. That without a doubt. I don't know if Punch is going to disagree. Isaac is joining. They are also depleting. They are also part of the team that is depleting Nkana. Nothing against Nkana, but Kelvin Muvanga Kampamba looks so close to be joining Zesco United as well. So you realize to say Zesco United have a mission to do, and their mission is not anywhere to get the ZSL. Okay, their mission is to get back into CAF, because for now that's where they think they belong. And missing out into this one is a very big loss to them. So the intent to get back into the CAF slots is very clear. Bruce Msakanya, and they followed him last season, they failed. You look at that distribution in the midfield, he would definitely be a very serious acquisition for them. Should they manage to get Kelvin Mwanga Kampamba, of course they have to work on the behavior aspect of it. And George is one person who's good at doing that.
Yes.
So you look at a team that is very serious with it. And how I wish we were seeing this vigorous approach to the transfer with other teams. Right now, it's only Zesco. And you won't be surprised for Zesco coming back into the league, winning the league, and of course getting back into the CAF slots.
So, Punch, when you look at Zesco United and their business, with what they're trying to do with the football club, do you think they will be a very, very big threat when it comes to next season?
Yes, they will. Look, I think Zesco realized, I'm of the view that had the league ended, Zesco would have still made it into Continental. So it's unfortunate the way the league ended. However, you can see that they've seen that there are players in the team who can't last past 2 seasons. There are veteran players who I feel Zesco may feel that, okay, they've done their part. I think probably Jacob Banda, this may be his last season, or they may give him one more. Kondwani Mutonga, these are good players but they've just, they're in their 30s. And 3 or 4 other players, Mwape Mwero as well, a veteran of the game. So these players will be on their way out, but who do Zesco bring? So that's why they're being linked with Bruce Musakanya, they're being linked with Kelvin Mubanga, but also internationally they're being linked with a lot of players. They're being linked with Jack Tuisenge, the former Gor Mahia striker. I'm told that about 3-4 days ago. Speculation has it that I don't know if he's the one who arrived or if his representative arrived, because apparently he shares the same representative with John Mark Makwata.
Okay.
So he came here to have talks to join Zesco. Don't know how that one worked out, but they're looking for a striker. There are a number of other strikers who Zesco United are looking at. Patrick Sibomana, the winger as well. He's also Rwandan. Jamal Salim, this information I got from Sudan, that they're interested in, he's a goalkeeper for Al Hilal, that they're interested in him, or they made an inquiry, not official, but they may have done some asking to certain people to maybe try and see if they can get him. So there are all these players.
But Punch, you know one thing that you look at Zesco United, you can actually see the change. You understand? Because they have that limitation, of course. They cannot go everywhere in Africa and get players. They still have the limitation of the number of foreign players that have to come into Zesco United. So the change is visible.
I've got a feeling that the David Owino, I don't think is going to be given a renewed deal. I think that from word we are hearing, though it's not confirmed, that Diodone Tibahezwa has left. Marcel Kalonda as well. He's another player who possibly is on his way out. Then there's a Japanese who left. So there are 4 foreign slots available at Zesco. So I think that's why they haven't brought in one yet. But those 4, and that's why I think it's the keeper, Jamal Salim. They may also be looking at a defender. Then midfield, I think they've got enough. Then striker and winger, probably 2. So I think they've got 4 foreign slots, and they're really pushing. Because Jack Tuisenge he was supposed to have gone to Simba, but then after there was interest from Zesco United, no, in fact not Simba, Yanga. Then after there was interest from Zesco United, Yanga backed off. They got the Burkinabe Yakuba Son, who himself was linked to Zesco United. And I was talking to people close to some of these deals, and apparently Sibomana, there was an offer here in Zambia. I'm not too sure of the club, of $45,000 US. That's how much, because he's a free agent, that's how much his sign-on fee was. So they were trying to reduce it. And they are after a Zambian who, I think they're going to pay a lot of money, and this is the word, they're going to pay almost 70,000 US, which I think is good that they should push for a Zambian. But you see, there are all these permutations, which I feel are very interesting when, if Zesco United bid for this player, now Sibomana, because he may not be moving to Zesco, I hear that possibly maybe he go to Forest, or there's a Lusaka team which is interested in him.
Just say Lusaka dead.
Yeah. So there are all these, because Zesco is a huge brand, we have to remember.
Yes,
so all these Jack Tuisenge, these foreign players, best foreign players, they want to come here and play for Zesco United, and it's good for the Zambian league. However, it's good that Zesco United are bidding for the likes of Kelvin Mubanga. I must say it's not cheap going to go and buy Kelvin Mbanga, because you look at how much Nkana charged them the club for water, where it was close to $200,000-$300,000. That's how much they charge. So for Kelvin Mbanga, they also value him, and remember that Nkana want the money. So I hope that Zesco will be able to.
Yeah, but look, that's what has been holding the talks between Zesco and Nkana. It's up to Nkana to actually. I don't know which way they could use to. Is it behave on this one? Because look, there's 4 months remaining on Kelvin Mbanga's contract, and when this month goes, it will be 3 months. Okay, so they may either get something now, or Kelvin Mbanga would wait for 3 months and walk into Levi Manawasa for free. So, and Ghana needs money like right now. You understand?
But the thing is that the price shouldn't be. It should be mutually beneficial at the end of the day. I know it's
both parties.
Yes, from both parties. You can't. Kelvin Mbanga is and this is why we always complain. We always complain that how come the foreign guys are being bought for more. Because
our players are going for less.
Going for less. It's because of the fact that there's this issue whereby the clubs here also don't feel that they can justify to their sponsors that, we spent, just as an example, we spent 3 million kwacha on buying
a local player.
For one thing I like about Lusaka Dynamos and Buildcon, they're different. They will spend because they already, the people who run them are individuals. So they see the value in saying that we can spend this much, because LD are trying to get Alex Wonga. And you can see that he's not going to be cheap from Power. They got Fayo Tembo. He wasn't cheap. So they value. So Zesco, they also needs to embrace this. So if they want Kelvin Mbanga and Nkana are being maybe rigid, obviously it's price. What needs to happen is that there needs to be a compromise. If it means Zesco paying over 2 years, I think that can be okay, rather than lowering the price and then Nkana get practically nothing.
Okay. You are still watching Off the Pitch here on Camnet TV. We come to your screens every Saturday at 12:45 hours. And now, let's move to Nkana. We have seen a lot of issues coming out from Nkana. Players' contracts running out. Other players have already left Nkana. Do you think this is a disaster in making, as they are going to represent Zambia in Champions League football?
Yeah, the challenge is these things are happening at the wrong time. It's no longer a secret. It's almost a disaster because, of course, Nkana have not come out in open and declaring exactly the situation at the club, but it's clear. There was some good news yesterday that came through to say players have been paid. Okay, so yes, they've been paid. Yeah, they have been paid, but then there's only 1 month more that they owe them. So that's some development of some kind. This is not a problem. The problem is the contracts of the players are running out. It is very difficult for Nkana right now to discuss the extension because they don't have money currently to pay the signing on fees. And one player has already gone, the goalkeeper has already gone to Lumana Radiants. There's a rumor that Billy could actually be working to Kabwe Warriors. We know of Kelvin Mbanga Kampamba. Now, this is a team that is not able as well to sign players because of Steven Adams' issue, which is with FIFA. So you look at serious challenges that are going on right now. And for a team that is preparing for CAF, well, if it was anything to go by, they could actually cash in. So the slot, exchange the slots with the Zesco United, get something that is actually going to sustain them for a period of time. Unfortunately, it also comes at a change of presidents. Okay, so Kabila could have had his weaknesses, but he had the strength in making sure that in his own way, possibly, he finds money. Of course, Nkana fans are not going to like this because they feel he actually emptied the coffers of Nkana. So it's not too easy for Joe Silwamba coming in at this time. And at the end of the day, we are seeing a disaster coming in. Especially that the transfer window is coming close on the 17th of October. It's the club that we've not heard of any signing preparing for CAF. So you don't get into CAF with the material right now that is there. We know of the 4 Kenyans that have left. Of course, they have a running contract, but then they need to be assured as they come back to say these financial challenges have been faced. So, yes, the disaster is actually looming.
Yeah. So, Pancharino Chama, if we look at Nkana Football Club, do you think it will be from the 13th title to fighting relegation with the happenings at Nkana Football Club? Because the situation now calls for them to just be using the youth players. They're going to have to promote a lot of players into the senior team to try and play continental football.
I think things have changed. If it was 2004, 2003, I would agree. I would say that, yes, that's Nkana. But now, I think there's a lot of... what has changed most in Zambian football is particularly social media. And because of these fans are aware of what's happening and they push. So it's going to force the executive, because the executive are now under a microscope. It's going to push them to look to source for money, to look for sponsorship, to try as much as possible to see. So I think Nkana is a big brand. As I said, that when you look at the likes of, when you go to Tanzania, you're talking about Simba. This is a team that can get a sponsor within just 2-3 months. They can get a sponsor to put in $500,000, $1 million. So this is the route which Nkana needs to use. Nkana has been too over-dependent, as well as most Zambian clubs, on the owners stroke sponsors. So Mopani are not having it easy. They've got their own challenges. They can't concentrate on football. So this is an opportunity for Nkana to say, okay, Mopani, we know you are the owners, but we're bringing in these sponsors who are going to come and put in $1 million. I've been talking to a few people in the market, and these are people, executives at companies, and I've been talking to some of them, and I'm saying that, how much would you put like in a club like Nkana? That depends, but for us as a company, we can put in maybe $100,000, $120,000, $50,000. Now, if you've got 2, 3, 4 companies thinking of putting that amount of money, let's just say, for example, 4 companies putting in $150,000. You have $600,000, which is close to 12 million kwacha, which is now, it sorts out your, if you're going to put that towards salaries, sign-on fee, it sorts out much of your challenges. So I think that there's a lot of hope moving forward. And also, I'd like to comment on, a lot of Nkana fans have blamed Kabila for Nkana's problems. I think that Kabila had a role to play, but we also have to remember that for Nkana to be where it is, despite Kabila's maybe weaknesses, it had to take Kabila to dream a little bit, because a lot of people, we are sometimes in Zambian football, we're very conservative. So when we look at CAF, we say that, okay, we're going to buy this player. Kabila went all out. He went to Kenya, bought Musa Mohammed, who was the vice captain of the Kenya national team, went to buy Duncan Otieno, who was one of the biggest players, went to buy Hassan Kesi, who was at Yanga. You see, that's being ambitious, and possibly because of this ambition, Nkana pushed themselves maybe too much. But where I think Nkana should do is, now there's a suggestion that, no, you see, Nkana should go back to how it was, maybe go scout for local talent, or what they used to do in the 1990s, go to the rural areas. That time is gone. Simba don't do that. Orlando Pirates don't do that. All the big teams. So what needs to happen is that Nkana needs to be as aggressive, but they need to find...
Hold your thought, Pancho. I think we've got a caller on the line. Hello, you are through to Off the Pitch, and I'm Augustine speaking. Who's on the line?
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I've heard you said much about Nkana, the challenges that Nkana is going through. Are you getting me?
Yes, we can get you, sir.
Yes, please. I'm saying this is Mungu coming from Fulfet.
Yes, what's your contribution?
Yes, I've heard you talk much about the challenges that the financial challenges that Nkana is going through, and I heard there's a number of players using Nkana, talked about the goalkeeper, was left in Nkana, the 14ers, they're not too sure if they'll be back. Despite having the Iranian contract, there's an issue of children on the compound that you're talking about. I just want to find out, Nkana was crowned as the champions, the third title. Did the title, did it come along with money? Or is it a floating trophy? Trophy.
There's a prize money, of course.
They are given the money after they become the champions that could maybe help them sustain the brand, knowing that they'll be going to play contender football. And I just want to find out, I remember the in his part. He talked about I think the defense. He talked about the midfield as well as the striking force, which he alluded that he actually acknowledged that he only has one striker in the name of Idris Longamo. And he mentioned that he might consider one or two players in actually every department. I just wanted to find out if I thought there is any room with players coming in, if I thought it's something like that. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir, for coming through. So, Punch, you can continue and just about his concerns. Ghana paid something for winning the league title.
There's money, but I don't know if they were paid. The money comes up to 500,000 kwacha, that's for winning the league, and then 200,000 kwacha for participating. So in total, I think it's 700,000, which is not enough because football is expensive. Traveling, allowances,
accommodation.
There's one thing that you're not mentioning. It's not only that. Nkana right now, at the moment, owe a lot to players. This issue of Steven Adams, which should also be talked about here, because the issue is the question that he asked towards the end to say who are coming in. It's still under FIFA because Nkana cannot go outside and start getting, even local, they cannot bring in players because there's that issue of Steven Adams that they need to clear out for them to be free to get the players that they actually want. Otherwise, the money could be there, but then there are a lot of issues that money goes to Ghana, needs to sort out the issue of Adams. Luckily, Waterworld, I think his issue was cleared out. Yes. So, but then there are a lot of these other players that are within Ghana that are on the lining up to get the money.
Okay, we've got another caller on the line. You are through to Off the Pitch. Who is on the line? Good afternoon. You are through to Off the Pitch, and I'm Augustine. Who am I speaking to?
You are speaking to Onji Shadrack, please.
Yes. What's your contribution, sir?
Yeah, my contribution this afternoon is concerning Ghana. Maybe the suggestion that we have is that why can't Ghana look for sponsors like Trade King? Why can't they approach Trade King and then make a breakthrough? Because the problem which is leading these players leaving the club is issues to do with the sponsorship. So if they can go to companies like Trade King and share their ideas, it would be better. And if they can do that again, knowing that they are the club representing us in which is champions of confederation. So it would be better maybe they just give the food to them if they cannot find themselves for a sponsorship deal for now. Let them give it to Red Kozanako better.
Well, my closing remarks is that Ghana should sit down, look into these issues well. It has happened elsewhere. If they are not ready to participate in CAF, look, they can actually notify first the Football Association of Zambia, and the Football Association of Zambia will then notify the Confederations of African Football. The route that they are right now just smells disaster.
Yeah. Punch?
I'll touch on what the last caller said, that sponsors need to come in. Yes, it's true, but one thing which has changed in Zambian football is that before a sponsor would come in, give a club money, and that's the end of their business. Their business is just that they're happy that a Zambian club or the national team have been given money. Sponsors now are different. They'll ask, what are we getting in return? So it's very important that if Nkana approaches Trade Kings, they have to approach Trade Kings with a proposal in which Trade Kings will reap. I'll give a quick example. Simba in Tanzania, they have a deal with the Mo group of companies. And then they also sell similar products as Trade Kings. So one of the products they sell is washing powder. So whenever you go on the Simba Facebook page, you see that they advertise, for example, they advertise the Simba shirt being washed with the same washing powder they do, because Simba is an important brand. So Nkana can go that way. In that way, the sponsors is getting value because they're getting money back. Because Nkana fans will associate themselves with Trade King products. If that is how Nkana will approach it, they'll easily get a sponsor from anyone, and they'll be able to play CAF.
Okay, thank you very much for coming to Poison and Punch.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. At this point in time, we'll take a short break and we'll be back on the other side.
Are you a filmmaker? Well, you are exactly what we are looking for.
Camnet TV is calling on local filmmakers. For more details,
You can visit our headquarters in Ibex Hill next to Hilltop Hospital.
contact us on
0962 444 726. Camnet TV.
not just another channel.
They were not there when God created you. The Bible says, I knew you before I placed you in your mother's womb.
Apples and bananas. Work and wait, and this what you've been praying for.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a filmmaker? Well, you are exactly what we are looking for.
Camnet TV is calling on local filmmakers. For more details,
You can visit our headquarters in Ibex Hill next to Hilltop Hospital.
contact us on
0962 444 726. Camnet TV.
not just another channel.
Well. Amo is back with Mr. Rapson. We just went for a short break anyway. We had some other errands that we needed to look up to. But I hope you guys enjoyed the two guests that we had. And if you still have got burning questions in terms of whatever was being discussed with those two guys, which is Punch and Bwezani, you can just call in and request for their presence again, and we'll have them back in the studio because we look at time, which is not on us most of the times. But we are back anyway on set, and we have joined Augustine again. Ango Rapson, since you and me were on a break, I'll start with you. Let's talk a bit on the Messi saga. Where is it now?
Last night we got some breaking news from Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is being managed. One of his managers is actually his father, and yesterday we had breaking news that he's not going to leave the club, as I predicted last week. The man is going to stay on the club, and I think it's a very, very good positive thing for Barcelona, because that is a brand on its own. Messi is a brand on his own, and when you look at the decision that he had made to leave the club and all the confusion that was surrounding the club, it's good that they've settled them in advance, but that is just for 1 year. He's going to remain at the club up to the end of this coming season, and according to his contract, this is a guy that gets, with or without winning anything, he's entitled to 17 million euros at the end of the season.
Augustine, let's look at, are we going to see the same Messi?
I think first and foremost there were celebrations at Camp Nou when they heard that Messi was not going to leave. He made a U-turn. I think it's very, very big because this is a guy who has done a lot for this football club. You look at his goals, the way he's always involved in scoring and assisting the football club at Barcelona. And like Uncle Rapson had said, Barcelona were going to lose out a lot if Messi went. Because he would have gone with a lot of sponsorship deals. He would have gone with a lot of TV rights. Because if you look at La Liga now, take away Messi, who is going to be watching La Liga now?
No.
Probably even SuperSport was going to lose that.
Yes.
Because remember what happened when
Ronaldo...
Yeah.
The SuperSport returned to Syria and signed the new rights with them. But if Messi was going to move to like the Premier League, La Liga would have been killed. That's why we've seen even... How many times have you seen a deal where even the league sponsors La Liga coming in to say that this guy's contract is like this and this? How many times have we seen that? We've seen a lot of players move out from La Liga. But how special is Messi? Because him and only him alone, he holds a lot of sponsorship deals which comes to La Liga, a lot of money which is being pumped in that league because of Lionel Messi. And coming to your question, I feel personally it's about the relationship between Ronald Koeman and Lionel Messi. It's going to be very, very vital. If the relationship is sour, we may not see a very good and happy Lionel Messi at Barcelona. But if they try and work it out to say, this is the roadmap, this is what we are trying to do with this football club, and this is the role that you, Lionel Messi, will play. Because if you remember when Luis Enrique took charge at Barcelona, he was very clear. He said, every player will be equal in this dressing room. No one will be above the other. And a lot of board directors at Barcelona didn't like that because they feel Messi should be treated somewhat differently. And Luis Enrique proved them wrong with the results he delivered. Now Ronald Koeman has come out and said the same things. Everyone will be the same. Yeah. So if he does not deliver the results, it will be issues at Barcelona.
There is an interview that Messi had, I think, this past week where we saw him saying it's like he's becoming more of a villain, both in the pitch, off the pitch, and in the dressing room. And he raised the point to say, I've now seen who is with me and who is against me. But looking at whatever discussions that have been taking place to say he's involved in making the Barca team, how true can that be?
You see, in football, ups and downs are about to happen. And you know the phase that Messi was going through, the humiliation at some point because there was a board making decisions against the will of the managers. We've seen that over time at Barcelona, where the board gets to start influencing what the team manager wants to do. But I think over and above that, the victory is the brand itself as Barcelona. They've emerged victorious, they've gone through this phase, and it will strengthen them for the coming season. Like, we shifted from our local league. I would like to advise the viewers out there that we've had the situation where our two guests that were in the studio were discussing Ghana Football Club and the troubles that are going through. We are likely to be joined by Charles Chakatazia, the CEO of Ghana Football Club, just to clarify on one or two things that could have happened. We are on standby. Charles, if you are watching us, we are waiting for your call. We can proceed.
From I don't know where to go now.
We can go to PSL. Some good stuff happening in the PSL.
Augustine, for you, lastly, was the El Clasico going to be the same without Messi?
I think if you look at the hype of the El Clasico, let's say here in Zambia, the minute Ronaldo stepped into La Liga and him and Messi were challenging for that Ballon d'Or, that's when everyone now, the interest of El Clasico grew. Because back in the days, it was just a normal game, yes. But Messi and Ronaldo changed the way people looked at El Clasico. It became big. It became one of the biggest games in the world. And added to that was the spice of Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. Then now, everyone was looking forward for just two fixtures in the league. Barcelona playing at Camp Nou against Real Madrid, and Real Madrid playing against Barcelona at the Santiago Bernabeu. It was only about those two fixtures. But we saw Pep Guardiola leave, Mourinho left, Sierra has left. Now the only guy who's making El Clasico have a little bit of value is Lionel Messi. But having said that, I must say the Spanish La Liga has got better quality than any other league in the world. It's just that they don't hype themselves like the Premier League do. But if you look at the quality and the football that is being played, you can see that they are better than the Premier League. More so, Manchester United being beaten by Sevilla. That's a clear example.
So let's start let's look at the PSL. Let's look at our players abroad. We start with those in the PSL.
Yesterday I had an opportunity of following a match. Salzburg was playing a game yesterday. It was glad to see the boys. Enoch Moipo was one of the scorers yesterday, and Patson Daka also scored one. I think Salzburg beat their opponents by 3-0. And it's a very, very good preparatory match for the young lads. The previous week they were playing against Liverpool. They drew against Liverpool. This time around they went and beat their opponents by 3-0 yesterday. It's a very, very good thing that is happening to the foreign players playing abroad, the Zambian players playing abroad. When we shift back to the South African Premier League, it's a very, very interesting ending. The league is coming to an end today, and we have very, very interesting fixtures, because when you look at the tables, the bottom half, we have two teams, Baroka and Black Leopards. When you look at the table, you will see that Baroka is actually holding the relegation zone, relegation slot. Polokwane City is as good as gone when you look at what is happening. But when you look at Black Leopards and Baroka, these two teams, one of them is going to drop today. And the beauty is the impact of these two teams will actually determine the league leaders today, the ones who are going to win the league. Kaizer Chiefs is playing Baroka. Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs is leading the league, playing Baroka. The second team on the log, Sundowns, our own Kennedy Mwene and Kambole are in the top two. Sundowns is playing Black Leopards. Black Leopards, in an event that they draw this match and Baroka beats Kaizer Chiefs, Black Leopards drop into the relegation zone. They will be out of the PSL. This is where the interesting part is. Because when you look at Kaizer Chiefs, the interesting part started the other week, where they were the first ones to lose by 1-0 against Chippa. We
thought it was blown.
We thought it had all gone. Then we came and watched Sundowns. Instead of them winning that match and maintaining the pressure, in fact, they would have gone top had they beaten Baroka in that game. And Baroka came out victorious and won that match, which has pushed this league to the wire. Today at 15:30, it will be very, very interesting to see who are going to make it.
Augustine, are you seeing our two guys being in action today? When I talk of the two guys, I mean Mwene and Kambole.
Yeah, talking about first players abroad, I think we would like to congratulate Klings Kangwa for being voted Player of the Month at Arsenal Tula. He beat his brother to the awards. I think big congrats to him. Is the next big thing is football. He's the Kevin De Bruyne kind of player. I think a lot is expected from him. Soon he'll be playing for Arsenal. And looking at...
he might just say...
He's a good market.
We'll get him to Red Arrow.
We'll fill in Bruce Msakanya's space.
So talking about the PSL, if you look at it the way they set up the South African Premier League, they have got 16 teams. And only one is automatically relegated, the 16th team. The 15th team is Baroka, is it? So Baroka, if they lose today to Kaizer Chiefs, they'll still have the second chance.
Playoffs.
They'll go to playoffs with the teams from the Glow African League.
Yeah.
Which Ajax is fighting for a slot into the PSL. So Baroka will have got one life left in them. So them going to play Kaizer Chiefs, they may lose that game and still play the PSL next season. So I think the biggest losers are Polokwane City, where Salulani plays. I think they're destined to go down. And if you look at Sundowns, they're playing a very, very stubborn Leopards. These guys are very, very tricky with Mwapem Sonda down the middle. Once they get a goal, I think it's curtains for...
Before we proceed in the discussion concerning the PSL, let's just take a very short break. We'll be right back on the other side.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a filmmaker? Well, you are exactly what we are looking for.
Camnet TV is calling on local filmmakers. For more details,
You can visit our headquarters in Ibex Hill next to Hilltop Hospital.
contact us on
0962 444 726. Camnet TV.
not just another channel.
Welcome back. And for those we had earlier said we'll be joined in by Charles, the CEO of Onkana, and we still await for that because we still have burning questions that we want to ask him and find out whatever is happening at the club. But before we went on a short break, we are discussing the top two in the PSL, and it's an interesting run because we are looking at it's Emwene versus Kambole thing. Augustine, you are the one holding the floor.
Yeah, I think it would be a disaster if Kaizer Chiefs blow it at this stage because they have been given chance after chance because Kaizer Chiefs were lost last week and then Sundowns went on to lose again. So now the title is in their hands. It's 90 minutes away from being champions. And the interesting fixture from the PSL today is Bidvest, which is playing, is it Maritzburg? I think it's the last time they will be playing as Bidvest. They have sold the club, they will change the name, everything changes. So today is the last time they will turn out as Bidvest, as they've tried to vie for a continental place.
Ngorapso, who are we seeing carrying the day?
For me, I think I would put my stake on Sundowns. Why do I say so? The pressure that Kaizer Chiefs has, of course, they've got a better goal difference. It was reduced last week when Sundowns beat their opponents by 3-0. It has reduced. I think it's now +3. It used to be 5. For me, I think the team that has been wanting to win it the most has been Kaizer Chiefs all along. But with the pressure that lies today, because if you look at Kaizer Chiefs, they are playing a team that is on the drop zone. And I think the psyche, and Baroka is a team that was being coached by our very own Wetson Nyirenda. And from the time he left, I think there's been a lot of inconsistencies, and you can actually tell that they have problems. But to be in that position, and you have one match to prove, puts a lot of pressure on the league leaders. On the other hand, what Black Leopards should do when they are playing Sundowns, they're just 2 results. A win or a draw for them to be a bit safe. They just need to win or draw. But what that result will mean now is that if Kaizer Chiefs drops points against Baroka and also Black Leopards manage to beat Sundowns, the status quo remains the same. And the status quo at the bottom will remain the same because everybody is going to go up the same way. So the status quo will not change both at the bottom and at the top. So for me, the biggest challenge I have today is, of course, we saw Kambole playing the last 20 seconds of the match on Wednesday. And I could see, I said, this coach probably is losing confidence in this young man and only hoping that he can work hard in the off-season as they prepare for the new season. But I think the biggest winner in today's match is going to be Kennedy Mwene, because he's very assured of starting.
That's where I was going. Are we seeing him maintaining his position?
Kennedy is maintaining his position because Onyango is still out injured, and I think he has accounted for himself very, very well. I would liken him to the performance of David De Gea during the course of the week. I mean, you saw De Gea play in the German versus
Spain, yeah.
He's been a goalkeeper that has been on and off. Previously, Kepa was being given the notch as first choice at Spain. But that is from the time that David messed up at the 2018 World Cup in the last round of 16. He has been very, very inconsistent for Spain. So for me, it's the same situation where Kennedy Mwene now has to prove himself because he's a second choice. And once you are given an opportunity, whether it's because of an injury on David Onyango or not, I think for me he has accounted for himself well in the last 4 or 5 games that he has played.
Augustine?
Yeah, I think it's very good for Kennedy to start for Kaizer, for Mamelodi Sundowns, sorry. He's someone who is very much experienced. He's played big games. I think it doesn't get any bigger than the Africa Cup of Nations final. For a player of that stature, I think even Pitu Mosimane is very confident to say the guy at the back, he's our last line of defense. He's someone with vast experience. He's played in the PSL from Free State Stars to Mamelodi Sundowns for a good number of years, and he's someone who is very good at organizing the team. So Pitu Mosimane, if he looks at leaders on that field of play, would look at Kennedy Mwene, maybe look at Tebo Kolangama and Flopo Gekana. Those are the leaders whom you would want to have leadership on that field of play, and Kennedy gives you that. He gives you assurance that he will put in his very best of performances, and he will try and help these young lads to try and calm them down, because this is a pressure game. It's a very, very pressure game for Mamelodi Sundowns and for Kaizer Chiefs. So it's all about how do you psych your players. And talking about Zambian players, I think we have to touch a little bit of Abel, the youngster who has been promoted to the Cagliari first team. Yeah, I think it's impressive for a Zambian. He was picked here in Zambia playing futsal. Then he went to Italy. He joined the Cagliari youth team. He has been with their youth ranks for the past two years. Then now he's been promoted to the senior team. We will be going with them to pre-season, and that's a very, very good achievement. That I think would it be the first Zambian to play Serie A if he makes his debut, the young holding midfield.
Oh, okay. We've got Mr. Charles on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, you are through to Off the Pitch, Mr. Charles.
Okay, how are you, sir?
Oh, we are very much fine.
Okay.
To the viewers out there, I'll be joined by Charles Chakatazia, the Nkana Football Club CEO, and there are so many happenings at Nkana Football Club, Mr. CEO, and we would like to get an update from you. We've been hearing transfer rumors of Kelvin wanting to leave the club, the financial instability of the club, and just the looming exodus of players to other clubs. We would like to get your views over that, and you just clarify so that the nation can hear you, sir.
The moment I think the only question here is for Kelvin from this COVID-19, which is not the first time they are inquiring. I think even the relatives of they were inquiring about it. So we cannot call that problematic.
And Mr. Charles, we would like to, at least the viewers would like to know, what have you planned for next season's Champions League football?
Yeah, I think we are still in the planning stage. As you are aware, the league was only won in August. Then Champions League starts in November. So everything that is preparing for Continental, they're in the planning stage now.
Are you targeting any players specifically to beef up the squad as we go to the Champions League, knowing that it's quite tough out there on the African continent, and as a club, Ghana is a very, very huge club, and we appreciate the management of the team and the results that we've gotten this year as a club, but would like to find out if you have specific player transfer that you want to sign as a club.
Yeah, but as you are aware, I think our first assignment in the transfers is to sort out the transfer ban, which was flagged on the club by FIFA. by finding money and paying out Stephen Adams, the talent. Okay, so once we do that, we transfer by state. And we can bring in players that are required by the coaches. The coaches have already decided players that can help them.
We saw during the week I came across a video where one of your players was actually saying training has not resumed. How true is that?
No, training has not resumed because the coaches are planned to start training on the 7th of September, so you cannot resume before that date comes.
We've been hearing rumors of Idris Mbombo wanting away, and Billy Mutale is being speculated that he's going to carry Warriors. Why is it that at this stage, Nkana Football Club playing continental football is slowly losing players, and players don't want to stay at Nkana? The likes of Ngerike Katemba moved on to Lumwana Radiance. Is there any issues in terms of finances at Nkana?
No, Ngerike Katemba is not the issue of finance. Ngerike Katemba and Billy Mutale, they were on short contract. So the technical bench has felt that they want to. That's why they were released.
Okay, Mr. Charles, coming to the issue of the story that was unfolding in the week where we had news that there's a new team that has been registered. I know it's out of your jurisdiction to comment on that, but we have the former club president, Evaristo Kabila, registering Mutondo Stars as a new club in the FAS structures. And my interest is it true that 2 or 3 of your ex-co members or part of your team at Nkana management have actually left the club and have joined Mutondo Stars?
I think I'm not going to that information, but we have 2 officials that left. Actually, I think before the stars was reformed itself. But I'm not privy to the information whether they have joined or they started together. I am not privy to that information.
Okay, before we conclude, are we seeing the same Nkana next season?
Yeah, you will see. You will see. Because I think why people are looking at it like that is that the just a truth that maybe our sponsors, if you're following our sponsors also, I think at the moment we are not producing, but I think once the partitions come back to normal, everything will be back at the team. So there's nothing to worry at the moment. The league is off, and then we are in the planning stage. We are not just pitching. So you will see the same Ghana that you were seeing last season. Maybe with a few additions or maybe a few players leaving the club, but you shouldn't worry at the moment.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for coming through.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was Mr. Charles, CEO for Nkana, and hopefully now you have the answers. So it was a very short one. We'll make sure we try our efforts and our best to have him again next week, Saturday, on either Zoom or having him live here in the studio with us so that you can ask those burning questions. I don't know because my director is telling me we've run out of time, but a quick one, Augustine. Your last words, just in a few seconds.
I think thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been a fantastic. Thanks to the callers and thanks to the guests for coming through, and big thanks to the entire production team for making this possible, and thank you to the viewers for tuning in.
Uncle Rapson.
It's been a great show. Thank you very much to the viewers who've been following us and giving us those encouraging remarks. We are proud of all of you and we look forward to better shows in future. And remember, the PSL is coming to an end today. Let's be glued to the TV and just give our lads, Kennedy and Kambole, all the best as they close the season.
We've had a very nice show, and I would love to thank our 2 guests that came in to give us all the details in terms of the transfer window that's happening in Zambia, and for Mr. Charles, the CEO for Nkana, for giving us certain updates on what's happening in terms of club level. And we've come to the end of the show, and it's now time for Amo to go and celebrate the daughter's birthday. Happy birthday to my daughter, who is just turned 5 today. Tata is coming, Tata is on his way. And to our viewers, thanks for gluing in and tuning in. You can continue watching Camnet TV, which is not just another channel. We're out.
Goodbye.